Good morning.
Good morning.
So at Humana, we think people are capable of amazing things at any age. And helping people age with health is core to our business. We are here this morning to talk about the results of a survey that we undertook, talking to people 60 and over about their perceptions of health and aging. We think it's important to listen to people, to ask the questions, and hear what their perceptions are. Last year, we did this very same study, and we found an extraordinary relationship between optimism and aging and health. So we found that people who tend to be optimistic, and perhaps no surprise to this audience, take better care of themselves, are more active, are more engaged with the community, and enjoy better health. And we found the very same thing this year. So we're here to talk about these results with two people who are living examples of living your best age at any age, and with extraordinary health, and to see how they think this study resonates with their own perspective. So let me introduce to you Ms. Kathrine Switzer, who many of you recognize as the first woman to officially run the Boston Marathon as a registrant. And I'm also here with Dr. George Shannon, who is Associate Professor of Gerontology at USC Davis, and who has a first career also to share with us. He is on career number 2, and we await career number 3. So I'll frame up the study results for both of you and for the audience so that we can contextualize the conversation. So we talked to 2,000 seniors, and we found that those who viewed themselves as optimistic, when they looked and reflected back on the last 30 days of their lives, they stated that of those last 30 days, they felt that they had had only 3 unhealthy physical days and 2 unhealthy mental days in the last 30 days. When we then looked at people who perceived themselves as less optimistic, and they reflected back on the last 30 days, these are astounding numbers. Those folks found 12.5 physically unhealthy days in the previous month, and 9.5 mentally unhealthy days in the previous month. And you may say, well, maybe this is all skewed because if you're healthy, it's certainly easy to be optimistic. But the answer is not that. In fact, when we ask people their own perception of their health, even the people who scored their health as poor, the more optimistic people had less unhealthy days. So it does matter, this perception of optimism, and I think it's could be extraordinarily powerful as we all search for better ways to age well. So this is what we want to talk with both of you this morning, and I'll start with you, Kathrine. Certainly, your career as a runner and your breakthrough work as a woman in the sport, you must have had a sense of optimism and resilience. Tell us how you approach that and how you see your own view of your health and optimism working even today.
Well, first of all, you have to understand that when I first got attention, it was in the Boston Marathon 50 years ago, 1967. And I officially registered for the race, and an official ran out on the course and attacked me and because I was a woman, and tried to throw me out of the race and rip off my bib number. This is a replica of the bib number. He got the one on my back. He got the corner there. It was a life-changing moment. I knew that I had to finish the race. My boyfriend, by the way, decked him. This is
kudos.
50 years ago. So certainly I was really discouraged. But, and I went on. I did finish the race, and making that decision was one of the most important decisions of my life because it changed everything. But here's the point, several things. Your body never lies. Running is any movement, any activity that gives you a return like that is transformational. George and I joke about this. I must have been on an endorphin high for the last 50 years. But there's something about that. It breaks the stress. It gives you good health. You sweat. You have a sense of your own self. Most of all, you have yourself, and you are optimistic, and you're even fearless. And that is so important going forward. And as I age, it is still my magic secret weapon. It's my victory under my belt every day that nobody can take away from me. And even if I couldn't run, I would find something else as a substitute, because I'm very blessed. I haven't been badly injured in any way. I have good health, and I'm full of gratitude. And I must say, I ran the Boston Marathon again this year for my 50th anniversary. And my overwhelming sense was were two things. One, of great gratitude for my health. But let's not forget, I've kept up with it, okay? I mean, I've really put a lot into it. And the second thing was of how many people out there really could do so much more if they only had the opportunity to put one foot in front of the other. And so that became my purpose in life, and that becomes my optimism in the future, my whole mantra.
And it's an extraordinary life, and it's a great example for women and men everywhere. How do you talk to women, I know that's part of your mission now, who may not be enjoying the great health that you've been able to maintain by your own efforts and your own genetics, to begin this journey with you and to see it the way you do and the great gains that come from movement?
First of all, something is always better than nothing, and it's never too late to start. The earlier you do start, of course, the better. It's like money in the bank. But it's never too late, and then miracle things can happen. I'm really enjoying my work enormously with Humana, because it's a company that absolutely believes in active aging and how activity can really help not only promote optimism, but prevent bad health and promote good health. And I'm also taking the 261 number out there. 261 has become a foundation now, 261fearless.org. We are changing women's lives all over the world by showing them how to put one foot in front of the other and be active. Very simple.
Extraordinary.
Thank you.
So George, tell us a little bit about your first incarnation and now your most recent incarnation, and how you made a decision in midlife really to make a very different investment in yourself.
Yeah, it's true. I was an actor for 30 years. That was actually my second incarnation. My first incarnation was I was married at 19, had 4 kids by the time I was 24. And when I was 26,
You have a woman's story, George.
I have 4 daughters as well. And so I was building elevators. And I was walking down Michigan Avenue with a toolbox in my hand, and this woman stopped me and handed me her card and said, "Have you ever thought about doing print work?" And I said, "I have no idea what print work is," and so I never thought about it. So she said, "Give me a call. Maybe we can make some money." And that was the beginning of my acting career, because print work, it turns out, is to be a male model, which was shocking to me. I said, why would you want me to do something like that? And she said, "Can you spell, what is the acronym for White Anglo WASP?" WASP. "Can you spell WASP?" And I said, "Yeah, what does that mean?" She said, "White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you have that look."
It sells.
I think it'll sell, which kind of goes back to some of the other discussions. Anyway, so I worked as an actor for 30 years. I studied at Second City in Chicago, and I went to New York and studied with Lee Strasberg for 10 years and did a lot of work, soaps and thousands of commercials and voiceovers, and I was the voice of Cadillac and Isuzu and things like that. So I was doing pretty well, but at 55, I thought to myself, I'm not going to die without a bachelor's degree. And so I went back to school, and I got a bachelor's degree, and that went pretty well, and then I thought, well, that went well. Let me see if I can get a master's degree. And I got a master's degree, and that went very well. And then I thought, well, hell, maybe I'll get a PhD. And I did, along with, by the way, with the superb support of my wife, without whose help I couldn't have possibly done it. But, and the people at the Davis School of the University of Southern California. So that all worked out pretty well. I said to myself, a line from Oscar Wilde, "In a perfect world, what would I do?" And that's what I thought. I said, what can I do? What am I good at? And so I went back to school and got a PhD in gerontology. And so it's been a wonderful, wonderful trip for me. It has revitalized my life and given me energy. Every morning I wake up and I can't wait to go and teach, to do research. I'm doing research of all things, in creativity and aging, which follows along. I've been trying to somehow synthesize my two career paths, and now finally I am. And so it's been a wonderful, wonderful trip, and I feel excited, and I know that it's the kind of thing that can revitalize the lives of older adults. We are, in fact, all of us aging all of our lives, and we have to keep that in mind. So yeah, so it's been really exciting, and I can't think of any other thing I would want to do than to choose another career path at some point in time.
And you talk about the support you had from your family, obviously the intellect and other abilities that you have. What do you think are the attributes that not everyone can reframe their life in midlife and see that, and even now you're thinking about another possibility. What do you think that, what's inside of you that allows that? And can it be taught to others?
I think it can be taught, but you know, it's like at 64, I decided to start walking up to the top of the Hollywood Hills. And when I first started doing it, I would get about halfway up and I would be tired. And I'd think to myself, yeah, I remember when I was playing football or when I was running and I was tired. And I didn't let that stop me. I just, one foot in front of the other, and I finished. And I think that's what we all have to do. We make up our minds. We try to choose a career path that will suit us, that will satisfy us as we get older. I mean, think about something that you can wake up in the morning and feel excited about doing every day, as I am, for the rest of your lives, and do it. You know, but it takes courage. It does take courage and support. If you have courage and support, you can do it.
And clearly, both of you see yourselves in the future, right? You have the long view, and I think when we asked folks over 60 what was important to them in that long view, like what did they really want in the future? You know, not surprising, I think, you know, health is number one, and when we say the health, we mean mental health, and we need physical health, so soundness of mind and body, and then the second thing. And I don't think it surprised either of you, is that sense of purpose. Yes. And as vibrant and as lively as you see it. So Kathrine, I thank you, and I thank you, George. I think you're living embodiments of our survey. And again, at Humana, we are listening to all of you to see what we can learn to improve our ability to help everyone age the best they can. Thank you so much.
Thank you.